All right, today we're diving into something called InsightCosmos. And the big idea here? To build you your very own personal AI universe. I know, that sounds pretty huge, right? So let's actually break down what that means. So if you're trying to keep up with AI and robotics, you know this feeling. It's a flood, right? An absolute tidal wave of new papers, new models, new breakthroughs hitting you every single day. It's literally impossible for one person to keep up. And let's be real, this isn't something you can just fix by, reading faster or finding a better app. We've basically hit a human limit. The pace of innovation has just completely blown past our ability to track it all by hand. It's a whole new scale of problem. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, this is where InsightCosmos steps in. And the idea is pretty cool. Stop trying to hold back the flood and instead build your own personal universe to navigate through it. And it all started with this one really simple but kind of profound question. What if an AI agent could scan the entire AI universe and just give me what I need to know? I mean, think about that. Instead of you doing all the work, an AI does the heavy lifting, cuts through all the noise, and just hands you the important stuff. And that's exactly what InsightCosmos is. It's a fully autonomous intelligence pipeline. The best way to think about it is like a smart observatory for AI news. But, instead of telescopes, it's got a whole team of AI agents. And their job isn't just to grab links. No. It's to actually work together to understand what's going on and give you insights you can actually use. So how does this whole AI observatory actually work? Well, to get that, we've got to meet the team. The whole system is built around this idea of a multi-agent setup, where each AI has its own specific job to do. And the workflow here is really fascinating. Okay, so first you've got the scout agent. Think of this one as your digital prospector, out there digging for gold, for new valuable info, and just tossing out anything we've already seen. Then the analyst agent comes in. This one's the deep thinker, the researcher who reads everything and figures out, okay, how important is this really? And finally, you've got the curator agent, who's basically the editor-in-chief, pulling it all together into a clean, polished report. So what's powering all this? Well, the core formula is actually pretty simple, but it's super powerful. It's LLM plus tools plus memory equals autonomous intelligence. Basically, the large language model is the brain for thinking. Then you give it tools like web search so it can actually do stuff. And finally, you give it memory so it can learn and remember. Put those three things together and you get this incredible loop of thinking, acting, and learning, all on its own. Okay, let's zoom in on that memory part because this is really clever. It's a dual memory system. So on one hand, you've got a standard SQL database. Think of that like a perfect filing cabinet. It stores all the hard facts, what was read, when, what the results were. But then you have the vector memory. This is more like a mind map. It doesn't just store facts, it understands the connections between ideas. And that's the magic that lets the system spot trends over time. All right, so that's all the cool tech under the hood, but what do you actually get out of it? Like, what's the end product? Let's take a look at how all this complex AI work turns into something you can actually use. It really comes down to two main things. First, you get a daily digest. This is like your personal executive briefing, just the top 5 to 10 things you absolutely need to know that day straight to your inbox. Then, at the end of the week, you get the weekly deep report. This is where the system zooms out, looks at everything from the past week and tells you, here are the big trends and here's maybe what you should think about doing next. And here's a perfect example of what that daily digest looks like. See, it's not just a list of headlines. For something like OpenAI's new robot model, it gives you the core concept. But then, and this is the important part, it tells you why it matters. This is the key. It turns raw news into something you can immediately understand and use. Now, the weekly report. That gives you the big picture, the strategic view. It's connecting the dots for you, showing you how all those little daily news items are forming bigger trends, like how LLMs and robotics are coming together. And check this out. It even gives you a specific action item, so it's not just about reading. It's about helping you form a strategy. But this whole thing is about way more than just a fancy newsletter. The long-term vision for InsightCosmos is, well, it's much bigger. The goal is for it to grow from just a smart tool into a genuine AI intelligence partner. And you can see that in the roadmap. It's laid out in 3 stages. Version 1 is the personal universe. That's the core system we've been talking about. Version 2, the intelligent universe, is where it starts to get really personal, learning your preferences and even creating visual maps of your knowledge. And the grand vision?
Version 3 is the enterprise universe. Imagine this thing acting as the intelligence engine for a whole company. Powerful stuff.
And really, this quote just nails the whole idea. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about AI. We're moving away from AI as a passive assistant that just waits for you to tell it what to do, and moving towards an active partner that's out there proactively finding things for you. So, when you look at all this, you see what becomes possible when AI agents are more than just simple tools. And it leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. What would you build? What could you do if your AI wasn't just an assistant, but a real strategic partner?